Hey, everyone. Today's MMA news is packed with intense updates. We've got Dana White's decision not to increase bonuses for UFC 306, BJ Penn's response to a man who allegedly hit his daughter, and so much more. Stick around because this is going to be good. Dana White on UFC 306 bonuses. Let's kick things off with Dana White. Dana recently refused to increase fight bonuses for UFC 306. In the past, Dana had been persuaded to give fighters bigger bonuses, especially for pay-per-view events. But after UFC 304, which was filled with 9 decision fights, Dana was done with that. Fighters tested him again during the UFC 306 pre-fight presser, but Dana quickly shut it down, saying he's not budging on bigger payouts.
Listen, I think if we already have an event to celebrate the hardest working people in the world, maybe a different kind of paycheck or some sort of additional bonus to reward us for such hard work. What do you say, people?
Who has the next question?
Justin Gaethje's comeback plan. Next up, we've got an update from Justin Gaethje. After suffering a knockout loss to Max Holloway at UFC 300, Gaethje is set to return to sparring next month. He's itching to get back into the octagon and has a list of potential opponents. Names like Dan Hooker, Dustin Poirier, and Alexander Volkanovski are on his radar, and Gaethje is ready to fight his way back into the title picture.
I said I was gonna take 6 months before I sparred, but it's been 4, and I'm gonna have a difficult time making it 6 months because I'm itching. But I think I'm gonna give it another month before I spar and then get back into camp. So we'll see. There's kind of like another opportunity for somebody like how Dustin Poirier stepped in. There's not a clear contender, so I think obviously after fight and win, I'm right back in there.
Does a name like Dan Hooker make sense to you?
Yeah, Dan Hooker. I have a list. I think Hooker, Oliveira, Poirier, and Volkanovski is a list of 4 people that I think any of those would do for me what I need to do to get back.
Max Holloway's prediction. O'Malley versus Dvalishvili. Speaking of Holloway, he recently shared his prediction for the upcoming fight between Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili. Holloway believes O'Malley will come out on top. According to Max, Merab has a tendency to get hit early, and if that happens against someone like O'Malley, it could spell disaster for him. Holloway predicts that O'Malley will land clean shots, and once that happens, it's lights out for Merab.
Rob, great cardio, great pressure, great fighter, but one hole in his game that we've seen over and over again is he gets caught. He gets caught, and he gets caught early. It's almost like he gets caught early and then he turn on and then it's a fight, but if there's one guy in your guys' division that you do not want to get caught by, it is Sean. But you cannot take away that this guy can fight, this guy can crack, he knocks out people. And my belief in this fight, a lot of people have been asking me and waiting to see who I pick. I'm going Sean, man. I'm going Sean. No disrespect to Merab. Merab is great. He's good everywhere. But man, if you do the mistakes, if you get caught clean by Sean and Sean know you're hurt, he's gonna find another shot to put you down.
Bisping on Ferguson versus Nick Diaz. Michael Bisping has chimed in on the possibility of a Tony Ferguson versus Nick Diaz fight. According to Bisping, this fight makes a lot of sense. Both fighters are legends, and while their careers may have slowed down, the fans still love them. If the UFC grants both fighters a swan song, it's a fight that could be both nostalgic and entertaining.
Is the Tony Ferguson versus Nick Diaz, is that locked in? Because I remember at the time there was a lot of people on Twitter and stuff saying, when Michael Chiesa was booked to face Tony Ferguson, and Tony Ferguson was and Nick Diaz was booked to face Vicente Luque, people were like, well, hold on, why doesn't Ferguson just fight Nick Diaz? Okay, well, the thing is, Tony Ferguson did the whole I'm not leaving bit from Wolf of Wall Street, and if he wants to stick around and he wants to have one, and we all want to watch him because, listen, it's I hate to say it, it's not Car Crash TV, but it's like, God, as a guy that's past his best, if he is going to do it, and if the UFC do give him one more fight, then Nick Diaz is a perfect matchup. They're both legends of the sport. They've both been around forever. People love Nick Diaz, an OG, a pioneer of the sport. If they're going to let them have one more fight, a swan song, if you will, it is the perfect matchup. So fair play to both of them, and if it happens, best of luck to both of them. And as I say, in terms of matchups, if they're gonna do it,
Dana White passes on fighter who beat Alex Pereira. Dana White made waves again by refusing to sign Yusri Belgaraoui, the fighter who once beat Alex Pereira in kickboxing. Belgaraoui fought in Dana White's Contender Series but lost, and even after a TKO win in a later fight, Dana was not impressed. He criticized Belgaraoui for poking his opponent in the eye multiple times and made it clear that he's not interested in signing him to the UFC.
He was an 11-1 favorite against a guy who took a fight on short notice. He's a 6'5" middleweight. Instead of closing his hands and using them to keep him off him or to finish him, he poked him in the eyes 5 or 6 times, or 4 or 5 times, whatever the number was. He did not impress me tonight.
Penn's response to alleged assault on his daughter. Finally, let's talk about BJ Penn. The UFC legend recently made headlines after posting a picture of an unconscious man on his Instagram. The man allegedly hit BJ's daughter, and Penn didn't take it lightly. He knocked the guy out and posted about it, warning others not to make the same mistake. That's all for today's MMA news. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all things MMA. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.